Hello everyone. I feel this video has been coming for a long time, and that is what happened to Little World. Little World was a survival game I had been working on since May of 2021, and development continued up until probably about 2023. I then wanted to somewhat rewrite the game, and that got delayed, and then I started working on it again towards the end of 2024, but then obviously it just dropped off. Well, there were some things about the game that I wanted to get out there to the public but never did. For example, there is a pre-release which will be down in the description along with an archive. I'm going to get to all that in a bit, but first let me just sort of explain what happened to the game. So the game was, number one, I had just finished, well, not finished, but sort of canceled my project, Runes of Monry, and I had been using GameMaker for 2 years. I knew what I was doing, but I still wasn't very experienced, especially with game development. And so I started Little World, and I feel over time just sort of the code base got a little scrambled, a little out there, so to speak. And there was a lot of stuff where I still feel I didn't know what I was doing. And so in 2023, after some learning some more about game design at university, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try and rewrite the project. I thought I would be able to port some things over, but honestly, it just became a big task. It was a fun project. I still envision the game today. However, I feel that maybe it's just I'm not ready to make the game, and I don't feel that the game is even ready to be out there in the world. I feel that I should learn a little more from my experiences and make the game when I feel comfortable making the game. I've also been working a lot on other games such as Colony and Orbital Entropy, and while Colony has sort of died off a little bit in development, I do still plan to at least do something with it, at least port it to HTML, but right now my sole focus is on Orbital Entropy, and just for a while, Little World has been on the back burner. And as of recently, I have been messing around with rewriting things. Just in December, I was doing world generation all over again in the new project, so to speak. So Little World is sort of at a rough stage of development, and I would say it's been in a development hell for quite a long time. But that's the reason why I'm making this video and why I am releasing all previous builds to the public and the hidden pre-release that I never got to make. Now, I did have plans for a second pre-release, and this one would have probably been the first public Alpha 1.0. Unfortunately, I haven't taken a look at the project. I haven't even made any builds. So if I was to release that second pre-release, you'd have to give me a little bit of time, and I think right now it only exists probably on my computer and in the cloud somewhere, and I don't really want to touch it, but I'll be happy to look into it in the future, especially if I decide to pick up the project again. Alright, so what exactly is going to be on this archive? Well, linked down below will be the archive, but if you head to my itch page, you'll see it here. I've rearranged a few things, so pretty much the top 3 games are at the top. Even this is more of an archive than a game. I wanted to put it at the top for right now, but if you head to the archive, it's pretty much going to be the page as is. I removed the screenshots. I felt they weren't probably very relevant. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. Like, it still says this game will get a new page soon. But you can see down here we have all 5 of the alphas, and after the release of this video, the pre-release will be up at the top. It is for Windows only. And then you have 3 Linux builds. I don't think this one will work. I don't think Alpha 3, this one may not work. I'm not too sure. There's even an in-dev version, just a world gen test. It's pretty interesting if you want to take a look at it. That's pretty much what the page is going to look like. So if you download this pre-release right here, you're going to open it up. It's going to be a very small window. I was using a 1080p monitor, so this was before I got my new computer, and this window was still small, but it was alright, but now it's like way too small. And let's full screen the game. You're going to see that the game UI is just huge. I feel I feel 720p is the way to go in terms of the smallest resolution possible. So, yeah, Colony is 720p, base, and orbital entropy is sort of designed more around 900p, but 720p is the smallest it can go. There are going to be random text right here, so throughout the video you're probably going to see random things right here, but let's just take a look at it. Right now in the credits, there's not really anything. In options, it's only full screen. Escape to enter config menu. There's a pretty big menu. It takes up like half the screen. Gosh. Anyways, let's just go through the tutorial, because this was a really fun thing to design. And in the config, it'll list the function keys that you can press. So, you can change skin color and shirt color. Oh, is shirt color random? It might be. Nope, I don't think it is. This is the default skin right here. Gray shirt, gray skin, brown pants. Pants are not changeable. We can also toggle like game stats and stuff. Anyways, the tutorial is pretty neat. I made this sort of made this to teach someone how to play the game, and I feel it was pretty effective. I was in a Discord server with some other game developers. It's inactive now, but I sent this to them, and a lot of people liked it. So, yeah. I think I do change this up in the second pre-release, but no one's ever going to see that, so I don't know, unless I do decide to release it. So it's pretty much just teaching you how to go about the game and stuff like that. And there's, an axe, so you can chop down trees. I believe it told you about the inventory, but, you can sort of mess with the inventory here. Probably discover some glitches. I'm going to put this right here because I think there will be a glitch. It's going to tell you about the hammer and how you can build things. So you right click. You have to use the arrow keys, and then you can place things with the hammer. And that's pretty much how it would be to craft something. That was my plan, to have you start with a hammer, and you pretty much craft everything else through the workbench. But the hammer could place planks in the workbench and build a fort. Let's get some dirt tiles in here. And let us... Okay, so it wasn't a glitch. It just started placing those first, which could sort of be a bug, because you probably want to place from the stack you're holding. Whoa. I just discovered a new bug. Oh my gosh. This is exciting. Well, there goes that. I don't even know how I did that. Here's a lighting demo. In Ruins of Monterey, I had a lighting demo, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, dude, I have got to do this for like every single game. So, lighting demo, very fun. Then you can just return to the title like that. Let's see what the splash text says. Oh, it's down here. Let's go to the dev room. So you can pretty much see what I was last working on. I was working on stacking items to the max, which is 96. So you get 95 wood, then you get 50. That was to make sure everything worked okay. Oh, here's some grass. Oh, you can't break it with your hand. At least not yet. I think you can do that in a later version. Got some chests. And a big chest with like every single item in the game. Tin, I was going to replace with aluminum. Because, shoot. No. Oh, no, it was aluminum that I replaced with tin because I wanted to have a bronze alloy. That's what it was. Press play to play, and then we can create a world. Yeah. World generation is pretty fast. Testing this in like development mode, it would go pretty slow because it's using interpreted code, but compiled, it goes like blazingly fast. And now we're like actually in like the full game itself. So yeah, you can explore, you can chop down trees, you can break minerals, you can do everything you could possibly want. If we go to the edge of the world, I want to show you the calling system because that still is broken. That's our calling system right there. And believe it or not, it actually really does reduce the FPS. It's deactivating the instances. And so it, not reduce the FPS, increases the FPS. So before, everything would have been drawing, everything would have been running its own routines. But now we activate based around the player. And then things will deactivate if they're out of range. So zoomed out, you can see that on the camera. You can zoom in real close. This is the game, well, it's not the game where I implemented the zoom system, but it's kind of where I, what's the word I'm looking for, kind of finalized it. Because there was a little test I was doing, a little project test in Game Maker, and I created this zoom camera, and I'm like, this is so cool. And it's been in my projects ever since. However, in some of them, I deactivate the zoom. So, there's that for you. That's pretty much that. So, my profile picture has always been the Little World mascot with some blocks around it. And I felt it's time for a change. If I'm not actively developing the game anymore, it's time for a change. So I introduced to you my anime profile picture, guys. Give me a round of applause. I deserve it. Honestly, it was a screenshot, and then I just put some glasses on it. You know, very, very hard work right there. So we're in a new era of the channel. I'm no longer the survival game guy who can't finish his game. I'm now just the guy who like makes crappy games. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in Little World, maybe I'll pick up development. But for right now, it's completely out of my scope. I'm going to work on some other projects, and then we'll see. I really do want to make the game. I think about it from time to time, but I feel like, you know, just after years and years, I get new ideas in my head, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to put this on the back burner. So, who knows? Feeling nostalgic, I'm like, this would be an amazing game if I could just stick to it. But, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.